Hi everyone, in this demo we'll show how to create a DB service that invokes a procedure inside your database. For that we have created a very simple procedure in our demo database. It is called increase numeric. It has three parameters. One is an in-out parameter called num. The second one is num original, which is an out parameter. And the last one is amount, which is an in parameter. What this simple procedure is doing is it is getting a number and then an amount, and it increases the number by this amount. So the result will be in the first parameter, which is an in-out, and on the second parameter it will return the original number that we passed to this procedure. This procedure was created only for the sake of this demo. So let's see how we invoke it. We'll get back to the service manager, and I'll duplicate an existing service that I have just to save me some time and not fill again the DB connection details. So I'll just duplicate this service. I'll change the name to call procedure, and then I'll clean up all the rest of the parts. So I'll have a clean service. That's it. And now I can add my statement for invoking a procedure. For that, I will go to the hints button here to see an examples and documentation of how to do that, and I have a few and I have an information in few places. The first one is the syntax of how to call a procedure. This appears here under the example. So this is the syntax of how to invoke a procedure. I also have here an additional tabs here giving me more information about how to state in parameters, in out parameters, or output parameters. This depends on the sign here. And I also have a tab here stating all the possible types for the procedure parameters. So I will be using them all in my example. And I have prepared the statement, and I'll just paste it here and we'll go over it. So this is the statement that I need to use in order to call our demo procedure, execute, the name of the procedure, and now I pass the parameters. So the first one was an in-out parameter of type int. Let's go back to the Oracle and see how it was. It was called num, it was an in-out, and the type was int. In the service manager, I will give it a name, any name that I want. I will put here the percent sign because the percent sign is for in-out parameters, as we saw here in the documentation. Sorry, this one. And the type would be integer. On the service manager, we are using ODBC standard types, so we need to match the type on the database to the type, the appropriate type on the ODBC list. So int would be integer, and so on. I proceed with the other parameters. This is how I define an out parameter, and this is the input parameter. And that's it. Now I'll go to the next step, which is to define the input parameters as inputs of the service. And I have here two input parameters. I have here the now, which is in out, so it is also an in parameter, and the amount, which is an input parameter. So let's add first the num. I'll add an input parameter. And now we will add the amount, which is another input parameter. And I don't need, of course, to add the num original because it is only an output parameter, so it's not part of the inputs. But once I will press the get outputs button, which analyzes the statement and generates the output parameters, I will see it here because num original is an output parameter. I will also see the num parameter because it was stated as in out, so this is the out part of it. And that's it. I will duplicate the service, and now I will test it. Let's put here as the original number to be 12 and increase it by 3. I run the test and I get the expected results. So the 12 became 15 because I increased it by 3, and the original number that we have sent was 12. That's it. Thank you.